Fire, steel, a hammer and anvil. These are the basic tools a blacksmith requires to practice his trade. At a time when so many jobs are dependent on technology that looks to the future, it is unique to find a profession so firmly grounded in the past.
Things that go on around blacksmithing have changed. Blacksmithing hasn't really changed. We make different stuff. We use power tools more than we might have done, say, 500 years ago, but blacksmithing at its core is exactly the same. Same handful of techniques that we use to shape iron. We make completely different stuff to, say, what a Roman blacksmith was making. But the techniques, the principles are all the same. Basic process is forging. That's the heart of what I do. And that's taking a hot piece of steel, or taking a piece of steel and getting it hot. That's either in a coke fire behind me there or one of these propane fires. I'll take it up to a point where it goes from being a hard, solid, immovable object to a point where it's a really nice, soft plastic material. I'm not melting it. I'm just taking it to like its plasticine sort of state, you know, for 1800, 2000 degrees, probably somewhere in that, and I'm hammering it into shape. That's forging. I'm taking an existing shape, I'm hammering it to transform the section of that steel to create the shape that I want.
Just as the techniques used in the first blacksmith shops are essentially the same as those used today, the fundamentals are also identical from one side of the world to the other.
I started my journeyman's travels. Most journeymen will go from the North America, they'll come to Europe and visit the master smiths in Europe. I was in Europe and I thought I'd go to Asia and check out some of the lower tech blacksmithing, and I went to Sri Lanka and we were blacksmithing dirt floor workshop, you know, wearing nothing but a sarong, like no safety boots, no flip-flops, no glasses, but we were forging plow blades, sickles, axes. You know, we had a charcoal fire instead of a coke fire. We had a really mangled block of steel instead of an anvil, but you know, we were doing the same stuff.
Blacksmithing in less developed countries remains utilitarian, while in first world countries, the rise of mass production has caused the relevance of blacksmithing to shift.
In the 50s, as machine tooling, which is like mass component production, got better, blacksmithing kind of died off, almost died out. And then a few guys in Germany, a couple of guys in the States, maybe like 2 guys in England. It was literally a handful of guys were looking at steel and looking at all this equipment and looking at the history of blacksmithing, like, you know, we can do so much more than make stuff with this steel. At the present state of society that we stand, most of what I make is fancy stuff, sculptures, gates, railings, lighting fixtures. I'm working for the, you know, the high end of the rich guys. They're my clients. But I also have guys coming in here that I can fix their equipment. It's, I don't know, why is it relevant? Because I want it to be relevant, basically. Can't let it die, it's too important.